Phil, come and join me on a chair here. You've got to use the handheld, which is right below you. We're swapping mics, by the way, because we're filming as well as doing the audio stuff. Phil Davies, Phil, use that one there. Oh, no, that's that one for that one. You need that one. Yeah. Otherwise we'll see you but not hear you.
We're of that age. We're still struggling with technology.
Hey, Ben's got 4 kids. Yeah. You've got 4 kids, but you've got how many grandchildren?
10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
And your background, in terms of coming to faith?
So I grew up in a little Brethren assembly, little open Brethren assembly down in South Wales. Am I on?
Yes.
I'm on. And in Swansea, just outside Swansea, in a place called Dunban. And I came to faith as a teenager, just like Ben did as well. And through the many years since really, I was outside Wales for 20 years with OM, but came back. The Lord drew us back about 25 years ago, and we're involved in a fellowship there in Swansea, but also working with an organisation called Counties, which is a network of evangelists which have resources that seek to inspire and encourage churches in reaching out with the gospel.
Out of the Brethren tradition?
Originally, yes.
And you're now called... we're going to see a little PowerPoint presentation now where you can speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually that photo goes back from the late 1800s, actually. 1899, Counties was launched. Amongst these Brethren churches, I'll pull them a little bit to the side so I can see what's going on behind me as well. With a heart very much so to bring the gospel across this world. It is interesting, that Christmas Evans quote as well. If you click to the next slide, this reminds me that at that era, 200 years ago, when the Brethren movement started in the 1830s, about the time that Christmas Evans was saying that, across Wales, there were over 200 or so of these small, they call them assemblies, ecclesia, from the Greek, of course. Today, though, there's only about 34 left. There's 2 or 3 in North Wales. But I say that with a sense of, also a sense of excitement as well, because God has been doing some amazing things, even though these little assemblies are closing at a rate of about 2 a year. For example, some of these assemblies have been taken on by other churches who have gone in and revitalized, and hear that phrase a lot, revitalized, brought new life there. But just want to mention a couple of ones. For example, down in West Wales, down in Tenby, there's just a guy about my age, actually related to me many years ago. He actually, about 8 years ago, went and started just a Bible study in Tenby, and that has now grown into what is now called, if you click to the next slide for me again, you'll see a nice little picture of the upper room and the old chapel there. It's an old railway Baptist church that was built for railway workers, and they've taken over a coffee shop, lots of folks with food bank and things like that. So that's one aspect of that's going on, that's been encouraging. Another aspect that's encouraging, if you click to the next slide again, is that some churches have reached out of their particular buildings, as it were. So for Dunbar Christian Fellowship, for example, moved out of their little traditional gospel hall that you can see in that picture there, and just went into a local school. And that almost was a huge catalyst for growth, where suddenly now on neutral ground, people were drawn in. Just one young guy, young because he's younger than me, but he just one Sunday just turned up, and I was speaking on the prodigal son. And as I walked down the aisle of the school hall afterwards, grabbed my arm and he said, "I'm that prodigal." And God has changed in his life. Still struggles with issues of drugs and things like that, but God is changing his life. So that's another aspect. And the third aspect, if you can go to the next slide again, is you have here in Cardiff. Clive shared with us a couple of years ago in a Equip conference and shared. And that was almost like a replant. So some of these little Brethren Ecclesia assemblies, some of them have handed over the keys. There's a little fellowship down in the Gwendraeth Valley have handed over the keys to the local Elim church to see if the Lord would continue the work there. For Reflect, it was a Ely Gospel Hall, and Clive got Cornish and his wife Fiona during COVID, took hold of that and are running with that, and that church is growing. And the last one I just wanted to mention, I want to get Mike to come and join me. Click on to the next slide again, and that's Rumney Chapel. So how long have we got left? 5 minutes? 5, fantastic. Mike, come join me at the front. Mike's a Philly boy originally, is that right, Mike? So, I mean, we go back many years. Counties have got about 40 odd different evangelists across the UK, and Mike is one of those. Also worked with message to us, but actually I've been part of Rumney Chapel. How long? Tell us a little bit where you started there.
I joined Rumney Chapel 27 years ago when somebody there invited my wife and I for dinner one Sunday, and we never left. So, 27 years we've been there.
Now, things for you really changed. A lot of service that has gone on and sharing, particularly amongst youth and schools and stuff in the community. But things changed for you coming out of COVID. How were things at that point in the church?
I think I said this a couple of weeks ago at another conference that I was at. If you'd have asked me just before COVID, where would Rumney Chapel be in 5 years' time? I think I probably would have answered that it would be one of those ex-brethren assemblies that is closed. We were certainly on a road to closure when we first joined. Back 27 years ago, there was about 80 people there, but just kind of going into COVID, there's about 25 people left kind of gathering on a Sunday morning. So it wasn't looking good. It was challenging, despite our best efforts with outreach and evangelism, working in the local schools and so on. The numbers just kept dropping. So that's where we were at the beginning of COVID.
So what brought the change? Can you sort of pinpoint some things that and suddenly things began to change? What began to happen?
I think, and this is a bit controversial, I think COVID was a real blessing for us anyway. It challenged our perceptions of what church is, how we do it on a Sunday morning, what it looks like. There was that moment, wasn't there, in March where all of a sudden we were told, like, you can't gather anymore in person. You've got to look at things differently. And then that kind of forced us then to sit back and think, right, what can we do? How can we do it? And how can we carry on reaching people with the gospel? And so it gave us permission to stop doing those things that we've been doing for so long out of tradition. And if you know anything about the Brethren movement, you'll know it's quite heavy on tradition. And so that's what we did. We live streamed the following week. None of us had ever done that before. And I'm sure you all had similar experiences in your church as well. But what we found is kind of putting ourselves out there and meeting people's needs, physical needs as well as spiritual needs. The people who were watching us online just exploded. The amount of people who joined us during COVID, kind of online, and then when we could gather, they started gathering with us as well. Our numbers all of a sudden in the space of 2 years went from about 25 up to about 80 or 90, and it was amazing. And that growth has carried on. Just 2 weeks ago, we had another couple join us that just walked in through the door and said, we've seen you online. And we're now up to about 140, which is an amazing story. And I still can't quite believe it. But one of the most powerful things that somebody said to me, I think, during lockdown is, what are you most looking forward to not restarting? And I was like, that's such a breath of fresh air. All of these things that we've been doing since Noah, we can stop doing those things. And also, we're still changing things. We're still looking at things differently. And if things not working, we can carry on changing. So that kind of freedom that we have, I think, has enabled us to grow. And God's doing amazing things.
And these are local people who've come to faith, and some have been baptized.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen loads of people, local people, kind of come into the church and give their lives to Jesus. And we have seen Christians move from other areas into East Cardiff and start coming to us as well. So some of the growth has been through that. But yeah, we've seen about 15 people give their lives to Jesus over the last couple of years. And I had a conversation yesterday with one of those ladies who's been coming to us about 2 months now. And I think she's ready for baptism. So, yeah, exciting times.
Before we get dragged down, can I just mention, you're wearing a T-shirt. Click on 2 slides and you'll get a little picture of a few guys. Can you click on 2 quickly? Tell us quickly about Faith Space, because you're wearing the T-shirt and you've got a vehicle.
So Faith Space is our youth work that we do in East Cardiff. So we're in both of the local high schools. And in fact, from September this year, the local high school is based in our church. And their off-site provision from Eastern High is actually in our building in Rumney Chapel 5 days a week. And it's been amazing to get to know the students and the staff there as well. But yeah, we've just kind of come up with a bit of a logo, and it just kind of ties everything nicely together. So we're in the schools, both local high schools, schools every single week. We're just about to start face-to-face in the primary schools now after October half term. And we've also got a mobile outdoor youth club. So if you imagine a big Luton van converted into an outdoor youth club, so all the equipment is inside, you arrive at a venue, open it all out, everything's there, big 80-inch TV, games, football, and of course, we talk to the young people about Jesus as well. If you like that in your area, then come and see me. I'll drive the van to you. No charge.
Oh, definitely. Thanks, mate. I'm going to hand back. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you very much, both of you. As a relative outsider, it's just exciting for me to come and pick up some of the pace and some of the stories and some of the things that God is doing, in the Swansea area, in the valleys, and here in Cardiff. John Funnell, where are you? Come and grab the stool.